I think when I started at Permira in 2005, there were two of us in the investor relations team, with two people who sort of helped with reporting, but also did a bit of marketing and just general support work. There was a finance team of 4 or 5 people, and that was basically it. Today, we have an organizational community, whatever we want to call it, of more than 50 people. So big finance team, big reporting team, much bigger investor relations team. It's changed that world recognition, and that's just the institutionalization of the industry to a large degree. Some of it was inevitably happening just because things got bigger. There was a very dramatic catalyst in the form of the financial crisis, which created or drove the LPs at least to recognize that there was way more risk in all sorts of different places that they weren't really focusing on. And so, just to give one example of how that played out, we used to report on a 6-monthly basis until 2008. And that 6-monthly report would basically be a piece of paper with a list of our portfolio companies and a number next to it. That was the extent of the reporting, and nobody complained about that. That's what they got. Post-Lehman, that whole thing changed very dramatically. We moved to quarterly reporting. The level of granularity in that report changed at will recognition. There was information about operating performance, capital structures. There was even some narrative so people could make sense of what was happening in the companies. That required resource. So it's been growing rapidly ever since that. The fundraising process has been exposed to exactly the same dynamics. People want more and more information. So our data rooms get bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. The size of spreadsheets or the databases that we make available to people just get bigger. The granularity of the requests that they make get ever greater. So I think it's a continuum, really. And I think the more recent phenomenon, and this is of the last few years, is just the sophistication with which they go about collecting and analyzing the data that we provide for them. But for me, it's all part of the same thing, which is that people want more information to make better decisions and understand the risk that sits behind the investments that they have.
And ESG and operational due diligence layered on top of that as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know exactly what it was, but I would guess when we raised Fund 5 again in 2013, probably had half a dozen ESG questionnaires. This time round, we produced a pro forma ESG questionnaire, so we actually produced a book that had lots of ESG information, company by company, as well as a whole set of policies and procedures. And we had more and more people who sent separate teams. It wasn't even part of their on-site diligence. It was a separate team that came in to do operational diligence. So they would spend time with our finance team, ESG, portfolio group, IT team. I mean, it was real kind of drains up stuff in some instances. And that's just going to keep happening. I think that's a hygiene factor now.